Hello, and thanks for listening to JoJo's
Hi,
Bizarre
Mark.
Podcast. Hi, Miles. My name is Mark, and that voice you just heard was Miles. We are, of course, also joined by
Hi.
Jackie.
Hi.
Hi, Jackie. And this is a podcast that covers the TV anime adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and a lot of the other TV or film adaptations of JoJo, and nothing else at all. And this week, we are going to be talking about the second episode of the Stone Ocean anime, which I think is just called Stone Ocean.
Episode?
Yeah,
Okay.
for some reason. Or maybe it's called Cry
Well,
Cry Dolls.
That makes sense.
I
Okay.
gotta look.
You don't know what it's called.
Well,
It was
I don't.
The stand is introduced, so.
the stand is introduced. Another stand is introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things happen. But we also, you know what? I'll intro you now, guest. We have a guest on this week. Haven't had one in a while.
Yay.
At least
Hi.
Miles doesn't count. But yes, this is Elliot.
Why would I count?
Who,
You're always here.
Yeah, that's true. We are joined by Elliot, who you probably have heard of. Is this fair to say if you are into Blazeball?
I
on the
hope
internet?
so. Or I
What is
don't
that?
hope so. I hope I'm not that popular. Blaseball is a video game. It's a browser video game where you follow a fake baseball league that is like fantasy baseball, but fantasy in this way that sometimes batters can like catch on fire or gain magic powers,
Oh.
or sometimes the sun explodes, and that has effects on the whole league.
I like that.
It's pretty fun.
So is it just text?
It's mostly text. It's like if you have ever seen, if you ever gone to like ESPN and seen like summaries of ongoing games, and it's just like kind of play-by-plays. Most of the website is delivered that way, like scores and very brief summaries of what players are doing, interspersed with like weird fiction. Like a lot of people compare it to like Night Vale, Welcome to Night Vale, where
Mm.
there's
Oh,
just
okay.
weird fiction in between what happens to baseball players. Right now, one of the teams previously known as the Ohio Worms, whose mascot, whose motto is "Oh Worm," they won they won a league-wide vote to worship a peanut god.
Okay.
And now they're known as the Ohio Peanuts, and I think all of their players are peanuts.
That does sound
Now.
like Welcome to Night Vale. A little
I've
bit.
never heard it, but I have to say that all of this is making me way more interested in it than when I tried to figure out what it was. Because when I tried to look it up, I think it's such like a dry sense of humor that like they were like, yeah, it's baseball. It's just like baseball, except there's
just
a
like
little bit of
baseball.
different stuff. And I was like, I don't understand you guys.
But the it's not real teams or players. It's not based on real life players or
Yeah,
teams.
yeah. All the teams are made up. All
Okay.
the player names are like randomly generated. So there's a lot of fun player names.
That does seem like fun. It almost sounds like Dwarf Fortress or something if they
Yeah,
made all the Dwarf
absolutely.
Fortress people
Yeah.
play baseball.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of Dwarf Fortress fans who are into it because like a lot of the fun stuff in Blaseball that happens is just the in between of when really strange rules collide and make stories that a human could never have written.
Yeah. Just hearing you recap that, I was just thinking of the Dwarf Fortress no clip where he's talking about cats getting drunk and then trying to clean their eyeballs and going blind or something like that, where it's just like, sure, okay. That, I don't know who would have sat down and thought of that. But also, and Elliot has been on the pod before, not talking about Blazeball then, talking about the Ebony Devil or Devo
Yeah.
episode of JoJo's, which is back in Stardust Crusaders.
I remember that.
Yeah.
How
How
long
long?
ago was that? What year was that?
That was a long time ago.
Ah, man. I want to say 2018.
What?
I want to say it, and so I will say it. 2018, but I
What-
have not looked.
What episode was that?
It's the one where Polnareff is trapped in a hotel room, and a guy crawls out of the fridge, and he has a puppet, and
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the puppet bothers him. Polnareff has to break the mirror to see him. The puppet pisses on stuff, and Polnareff hides under the bed, like he straps himself underneath
What's
the bed.
the power?
It's just an evil doll.
Okay.
They do that a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
That's
been
like
a
not
couple.
the last evil doll in
Yeah.
JoJo.
I mean, this episode features.
This episode is
some
kind of an
dolls.
evil doll, yeah.
Yeah.
Features a doll and a power that we've kind of already seen before, but we'll get there.
Have we? Okay.
We'll get there. Yes, the JoJo wiki was really helpful in jogging my memory and some stuff, because there's just so much weird shit that your brain tends to just be like, all right, I'll just eject that and move on. But yes, other things about us. We are on Twitter. If you go
Wait,
to
I have more questions for Elliot.
Okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
What's your experience with JoJo's? I don't remember.
Oh, sure. I like JoJo. I have not read the manga. I've watched all the anime, including all of the Stone Ocean that's out so far. I
Okay,
did watch
don't
ahead.
spoil it.
I will not spoil it.
Yes, Elliot volunteered
But-
that first yesterday.
I
It
will
was
say
like,
that
I will
like
not
it.
spoil.
I like this season. It's fun.
Cool.
Oh, good. I like it so far too. All 2 episodes we've watched. We've watched at least twice each one.
Yeah.
But yes, more about us. We have a Twitter. We are at JJBpod there, and you can find all of our past podcast episodes by going to anchor.fm/JJBpod, or just looking up JoJo's Bizarre Podcast on whatever podcasting app you have. The episodes are in a weird order, but I have a guide, and there is now an intro to the first episodes where I will say, this is Diamond is Unbreakable. We're starting there. We didn't know. And then at episode whatever the hell, we'll actually start Phantom Blood. So don't be confused. Start listening and you'll figure it out. I also renamed a bunch of episodes. I just want everyone to know that I work very hard behind the scenes when I want to.
Great job, Mark.
Good job, Mark.
Thank you. You can also email us by writing to jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com. But before we talk about JoJo's, we need to first take a stop in our pedantry parrot, our reply rat corpse. The
Reply Rat Corpse is good. I think that's good.
reply rat. Okay, I'll stop. We're gonna listen. We're gonna read some emails sent to us by listeners. Okay, we got an email from Google saying your sign-in is changing.
What?
Do you want to read that one?
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
good.
It just mentions
That's
two-factor
wise.
authentication. It's it's boring.
How am
Miles,
I going to sign in if we have to use two-factor authentication?
I'm just gonna text you. Yeah, it's 3929 or whatever the hell. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe I'll see if we can become a small business account or something, and then add devices. And they'll be like, "How much money do you make?" And I'll
You
be
can
like, "Fuck off."
You can have 2-factor on multiple devices.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The future's now.
Well, we just figured it out, Miles. Anyway, just
Thanks, Jackie.
pray I can't reverse it and end up getting into your shit. But we'll see.
This email's from JJ. Subject line is, Jotaro is an okay ? Dad. Please scream this part unless you are Miles. Okay.
Why
Hello.
unless Miles?
I don't know.
Because
They spelled my name wrong, though.
Miles is quieter.
Hello. I have a theory about Jotaro not being there for his family. Since he travels to look at sea life, he wouldn't be home much anyway. But he is also a stand user and a famous user at that. I think he left his family and went into hiding to protect his family from other stand users. It doesn't help that apparently stand users are drawn to each other. Your thoughts? See ya, JJ. P.S. I love you.
Aw.
Thanks, JJ.
I think that's a
Aw.
good point,
Sweet.
JJ. Let's give Jotaro 3 dad points.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It would be better if Jotaro or someone said that.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe it unless somebody actually says
Yeah, a
it.
lot of good benefit of the doubt.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we want to feel good about
It's
our
like-
true.
angry
It's not
boys.
wrong.
I don't want Jotaro to show up and be like, "Oh yeah, I just forgot I had a daughter" or something.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember because I feel like the whole like going incognito protect you, but it's probably as good as an excuse as when Abdul, spoilers for part 3, when Abdul is like dead and then his friends don't know that he's not dead
Mm-hmm.
and he's just gone for weeks or months, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm back. We didn't tell you to protect you." It's like, what the hell's the matter with you? You could have been here. Why didn't you tell me?
Do you remember what Lisa's excuse was for not being a mom to her kid?
I don't know. I
Okay.
do not remember.
I don't remember.
It may have been protection or something. I think it was, maybe it was so that Joseph would like look at her when she's taking a bath.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe she wanted the sun.
That's why Araki wrote it that way.
Yes. Araki, as we have once again noticed in this episode specifically, has no problem sending all the shonen boys to my candy every now and then.
Yeah.
Of the ladies. And some men.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, JJ, whose name I'm sure is short for J. Jotaro Jameson. I've decided. Must be what that is.
There's only 2 J's.
Yeah, just snuck one in there.
Stupid.
Well, no. Jotaro Jameson is one word in this this imagination.
Uh-huh.
I apologize.
Thanks. Great.
All right. This email is from Silent. First-time writer, active listener. Hello, JJB Pod crew. I wanted to write in and let you all know how much I've enjoyed your podcast. It has helped me so much with getting through my day and always keeps a smile on my face. I love all of you in each of your own quirky ways, like when Miles sings Give It Away, and when Jackie voices Mista's Sex Pistols.
I forgot about that.
What is it like? Mista?
Probably.
Like, help! Mark just makes me laugh the most with his awesome jokes, not being sarcastic. I put off writing in for a long time, but I'm at the point of actually wanting to become an active writer. I'd just like to contribute to the podcast that I've grown to love so very much. Congrats on making it to Stone Ocean. I just know Jackie and Miles will love it. I myself have already binged what's on Netflix as well as read all of part 6, so I'm just waiting for the next batch of episodes to drop. I'll leave off with a question that isn't JoJo's related, sorry. Do y'all have any tips on how to get through the work day or on how to make a job you don't like very much more enjoyable? I recently got a new job which doesn't allow me to listen to the pod with my earbuds, and it makes the days so much longer. Sorry for the long email. I'll try my best to write in next week. P.S. I am very, very horny for this pod. Xylan.
Thanks, Island. Said some very nice things to us.
Yeah.
Nobody ever writes in and says that they like Mark. So it's nice
I don't think
fine.
that's true.
that someone did that.
No, people like Mark.
No,
He's funny.
I'm already
No,
feeling
I'm saying
awkward
it's-
from this.
I'm saying it's nice because Mark works the hardest on this podcast.
It's true.
And I feel like people don't show enough appreciation.
No, don't say that.
Mark's the reason we're all here.
It's true. That isn't necessarily
all
a
of
good
us.
thing.
It's true.
That's like if you're in like a collapsed tunnel and you're like, hey, we wouldn't all be here without you. Like, okay. Dubious honor. No. I think to get through the workday, if you can't listen to music or podcasts, one thing you could do is if you can talk to somebody, make a friendship with them and just talk their ear off
Yeah.
the entire time.
Make friends with somebody.
Just be really annoying.
No, don't be annoying. They
You
gotta
know,
get their work done too.
maybe. Miles, do you have any advice?
Okay. I don't think I've had a job like this in a very, very long time.
Miles just loves
The
his
last
jobs.
one I had was I was like a bank teller, and I think that was just like such a busy job that I don't know. Some jobs are boring. I agree with Mark. Talk to people. Just be a really annoying person.
Don't be annoying.
Just hum,
Make
sing.
friends.
Like, I don't know. Like, you got to pass the time somehow.
Yeah. I guess it depends. Is it like a job where you have to talk to people?
Yeah.
Because that's tough. Like if you're working in retail or something and you have to interface with people, but you don't want to. Or if it's just like a desk job and you just have nothing to do all day. Like I had a friend who, he worked nights, so he had to just like watch, in IT, he had to just watch a server and mostly nothing happened. But he was on a computer, so he could just like watch videos or something.
Yeah.
I have a friend who works like reception. I don't think it's security. And he's like, I just play Hearthstone all day. He's like, my bosses go by and they know I'm playing Hearthstone and they don't care. Because I just need to, like, when people come to the door, I talk to them. When they call me, I pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I don't think I've ever had a job like that.
I did.
You did?
At the tech center, when I worked at the tech center.
Oh, yeah.
At our university, I worked at the tech center, and like, you know, we had to make sure like the printers were like stocked with paper, and then like if someone needed a conference room, we booked it for them. But like for the most part, we sat at a desk and waited for people to come to us. So I mostly like wrote papers or like studied or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
Or if I didn't have any papers to write or whatever, then I'd or things to read, study for, whatever, then I would like play games. So I remember I played a little bit of what was that game? Mark, you just got the new version on your phone.
Puzzle Quest.
Yeah, I used to play Puzzle Quest on my laptop.
Yeah, Puzzle Quest 1 like ate like a weekend of mine, like just 48 hours back to back.
Yeah.
Just leveling up some spider that I was riding. I don't know.
I played other stuff too, but it had to be like casual stuff that like I could drop if somebody came up to the desk. So, and that was a long time ago. There was no Hearthstone.
I would, yeah, if you can't play like an active video game, I think you should print out some kind of visual riddle or like a text riddle and just like put it on your desk and then just like ponder it occasionally and see if you can figure it out.
Ponder it, yeah.
You know, like if you have like
Read a
orb.
book.
matchsticks that you can rearrange.
Just do like brain teasers while
Yeah.
you're doing stuff.
Yeah. Play the game The Room on your phone. I just bought them.
Yeah, if they can't listen
know
to
what
a podcast, it must be they either have to be interacting with people or something. Like they're on their feet, you know, they're stocking shelves or something. They're
Maybe
either doing something physical or no. Then again, if you're like stocking shelves or something, you could still listen to
Yeah.
music.
Maybe they work in like that factory that Lucy did in I Love Lucy. And it's like more about like being aware.
Oh, the factory where the chocolates come by.
bonbons, yeah. It could be. Miles, what were you going to say?
This is like the stage of parenting that I'm at, where like nothing much is happening, but you have to pay attention in case something happens. A friend of mine compared it to like being a truck driver, where you just have to like look, or else like something terrible will happen the second you look away. I think what I do is it's very hard to not just look at my phone instead of at my precious child. So I just try to like be really in the moment and convince myself that I should be paying attention to these precious moments. But it's very, very hard.
You should just talk about your day or something. Just do like a solo podcast or conversation.
You just talk to
That's
yourself.
what I try to do and narrate stuff. But
if you
the
can't listen to
narration is just
podcasts,
like,
just make a podcast.
okay,
Yeah.
you're playing
Yourself.
with your truck. You're playing with your truck still.
No,
You're
you
still
should
playing
just
with your truck.
you should just talk to him. You should just be like, I'm having a political philosophical crisis right now, and I'm going to imagine a conversation with a person that doesn't exist, but I want to exist because all my arguments would own them, and then just talk it out. That's what I do in the shower in my head. I just
It
imagine
sounds like you
conversations.
have a rich inner life, which I don't.
It's not. It's a lot of the same stuff.
I'll give another tip, which is try to make time for some breaks, just to break up your day. So, make sure you take your lunch break at like a good time. That's kind of like halfway. Like because if you take lunch like too early, then it feels like the day just feels like super long. Like the afternoon feels super long. Just give yourself some breaks when you feel
Yeah, milestones
like
to hit.
stressed. Yeah, milestones.
Take up smoking.
No, don't. Don't do that. I'm going to move on to the next email.
Uh-huh.
This email is from Kenny. The subject line is Good Game Dolls. Hey guys.
Oh yeah, GG dolls.
Hey guys, I'm back at it again, writing to the pod after finishing episode 2, and what an awesome episode it was. After the introduction to the prison by Charlotte, the MVP prison guard, Jolene finally meets the first enemy stand user. I think Wes is a perfect first villain. Brutal, kind of funny, and absolutely crazy. I think Araki put a little chocolata in there, a sadist taking care of a human pet. I also really like how she gets all philosophical about naming her stand, but calls it fucking Goo Goo Dolls, and how she sings Jolene's name, just like in the song Jolene. Can we talk about how Stone Free is easily the coolest stand ever? I mean how it manifests out of thread, punching Little Feet 2.0 into the wall, and looking at the camera with its stylish sunglasses, come on. And then we even get Jolene naming her stand, making her dad's trademark catchphrase, and giving Gwes an ora ora beatdown in under 1 minute. Still getting goosebumps just by thinking about it. Jolene is an absolute badass. Well, that's all from me for this week. Have fun. Kenny. P.S. Am I the only one who always understands "Don't stop beating a man" as the last line of the OP? That specifically, no, but I have also heard her say, like, beating your wife I
don't know what they're saying.
I think it might be
listened to it
beating
many
your
times.
wings.
Oh.
Oh.
Don't
Maybe-
stop beating and then something.
Because it's like if the butterfly metaphor is a thing, you
That makes
know?
sense.
Don't stop beating a man.
It's like don't stop beating a man. You know, right before like the instrumental takes over for the last time.
That's appropriate.
She beats a
That's
lot
what
of
JoJo's
women.
about. Yeah.
Don't stop beating females. Maybe, I don't know. You're probably not the only one.
Bad
though.
message.
I think it's totally.
Please clip that out of
possible.
context. And ruin
Nah.
Mark's life.
I think the melody gives away that I was not serious.
This email brings up a point that I wanted to make this episode, which is like her power actually. So Kenny's saying the opposite, but I don't think her power is that cool.
We'll get there.
Why not?
No. I mean, like we'll talk about it in the
We'll get there in the
JoJo's
episode.
episode.
Why can't we
I
talk
guess,
about it
right?
now in the email that
Okay.
talks about her being cool and having a cool stand?
I worry that people skip the emails. But maybe they don't. Maybe they're more often about
No.
JoJo. Okay.
It's about JoJo.
Okay. Fine.
Sorry.
Say your feeling again.
Again? Why?
Ye-
Because you're going to cut out all this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now I don't know. You got to leave all this in, Mark. I'm sorry.
You think that her stand is lame?
Yeah, she just has like no. Not that her stand is lame. Not that her stand is lame. Her stand is fine. Compare her to Giorno, Jotaro, Josuke. I don't think her stand is as like at the same level as like the previous protagonists.
Yeah.
Because so far,
the definitely true.
the other powers were like OP. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they were like, oh my god, these crazy like overpowered like stands. And she has a cool like she has range with her string powers. And she does have a punchy guy with glasses. But
I think
don't-
it's a girl.
or girl.
I think.
I thought it was a guy. Well, whatever.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, it's like the string is perfect for prison, right? Like just being able to grab stuff, sneak through bars and all that. It seems like it can punch real good, which it's a protagonist JoJo stand. It must be able to punch real hard.
Got a punch.
But yeah, I understand. Like Giorno's intro to his stand is that he's like turning dollar bills into butterflies.
Yeah. Like that's a god power.
Yeah, and then like
And
Yeah.
fucking Josuke can like stop time and shit.
no, Josuke can't stop time. He can reform things. He can kind of rewind time in a way.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Jotaro.
Yeah, Jotaro eventually can stop time. In
Yeah.
the
Right, when he-
beginning, his stand can
It was
just
just punch.
punch stuff and catch a bullet.
It's like real fast.
It can
true.
also
That's how
draw
they introduced
good,
him, yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, he catches
Yeah.
the bullet. Like, I may be deaf. And, well, eventually it can
point
draw
blank bullet.
good. It can extend its finger really far into a point.
Big finger.
Not star finger, big finger. Yeah, it can see very far. And, I
think the cool thing about Stone Free is that, like, the context here is that since Jolene is in prison, she gets to use it for all these kind of puzzles or all these challenges that the other JoJos didn't have to, where she just has to not get caught or not get seen or has to sneak around other people. That gets more interesting, I think.
Yeah, but I can see why right now, yes, strings and punching is not that exciting. Even if she could theoretically use it the way she did by accident in the beginning, like and just listen to conversations far away.
Oh, that is a cool thing.
That does make it
It's
cool
'cause
for prison to
she
think
has
of how
the
to
most-
escape.
I think she has the most range out of all the
That's what I
JoJos,
think
right?
too.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
she has the longest range, which
Yeah.
is usually something you find in villains, like or random.
Mm.
No, not always. Koichi had a stand that could fucking fly up
Yeah.
in the air and look at the whole town. So yeah, but it did seem like there was a power creep thing going on. But Giorno in the beginning, he couldn't do what his Requiem could eventually do. He did, I think it took a few episodes, but he did get a power to whatever he turns into an organic thing. If it gets hurt, it deals damage back to the attacker, which is ridiculous to the point where Araki stopped giving it to him. It just mysteriously vanished.
Yeah.
And yeah, Josuke's power, it's like on its face is not that incredible. The fact that he can reform broken things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you can do a lot with that, and that's also like a godlike
Well, we'll see
power.
with the strings. Maybe the strings can do a lot. Maybe listening far away can do a lot.
Okay.
And it has sunglasses, so it could go out in the bright. It's in Florida.
It's very powerful, the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe under those eyes, it's like like J.C. Denton has like flashlights that shoot out.
I do like the design of the stand.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I like the visuals. We'll see in this episode how it forms out of like strings coming out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forms into
That part's
clumps.
Clumps.
Not my word.
That's what they say in the
Strings.
English version is clumps.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The subject line for this email is episode 2, and it is from Katie, who says, "Greetings, JJB Pod. Just wanted to write in and say that I'm also watching one episode a week along with you and Chad."
Woo!
I think Kenny also said that he had just finished episode 2. "I'm sort of cheating because I read the manga last year, but it's nice pacing things out. The bizarre really started in earnest in this pod, LOL. I forget if you already mentioned it, but the English localization of Goo Goo Dolls and Stone Free made me laugh. Cry Cry Dolls and Stone Ocean. Anyways, I'll be starting a Yare Yare Dawa drinking game for the rest of the season. Cheers, Katie." I thought it was GG Dolls.
It's
the
different in the
localization.
dub compared to the subs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, which is really sad because we didn't watch the dub for other parts of it. So like in part 4, when Boy Man Man is the replacement for Boys to Men, we never confirmed that like the English voice actors had to say that. We would just see it in the
Oh.
subtitles and you go, okay, it's just the dumb subtitle change. But yeah, here they should have flipped it. It should have been that the silly name Cry Cry Dolls was the subtitle, and they should have just said GG Dolls out loud.
I disagree. I think GG Dolls makes it like way too obvious that it's Goo Goo Dolls, so that's why they wanted to make it more different.
I guess, but you're not writing Goo Goo Dolls, you're writing GG.
So
You know what I mean?
So her actual stand is called Stone Free,
Yes.
but they called it Stone Ocean because that's the name of the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stone Free is that the one
Same
that's
as,
the Jimi Hendrix album?
It's a Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Yeah. I forget what it is about Stone Free, like the lyrics or what have you, but I feel like there was characteristics of it that reminded me of Jolene, or perhaps it may have. It's a counterculture anthem, I believe.
Oh.
And she's like she's someone who was in a gang and maybe living on the fringes a little bit, but also it's a cool name. Yeah, the idea, and that's why at the end of this episode and in like one of the promo videos, she's like, my stand's name is Stone Free because it's going to get me out of this stone prison, out of this stone ocean. But here she's like, my stand's name's Stone Ocean because it's going to get me out of this stone ocean.
Yeah.
Which,
It's gonna get me.
Just
It's
a
gonna get me
sea
free.
of stone.
it's like if you were in the,
Which,
the
yeah,
Jacob
Barely
Javits
makes
Center.
sense, but it's
And
okay.
you're like,
yes.
yeah, I'm looking for my stand's name is Jacob Javits Center because I got to get out of here. Like, no, your name should keep you in the place. What? It doesn't really work, but that's the thing is like, I was listening back to the Kira Buckland episode, and it's like, I remember how much she loves JoJo, and then imagining
For context, listeners, we had Kira Buckland on this podcast a long time ago, and she is the voice of Jolene in the English version.
Thank you. Yeah, in 2017 she was on, and they were briefly alluded to like really wanting to voice Jolene. And the fact that she was Reimi Sugimoto in part 4, I was like, well, she's never going to be Jolene. But it's just imagining being a JoJo fan and like trying to picture saying things a certain way. It's like not only do they have their own translation for things, but you also have to say like Cry Cry Dolls and say things that don't make any sense because of the translation differences. It's got to be really weird.
By the way, Elliot, if you have any dreams, you should say them out loud on the show.
Oh,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
come
That's
true.
your bit. Your dream bit.
Yeah.
It's not a bit.
Your dream prophecy genie monkey's paw thing.
Yeah, we'll
What
see if
happens
it's a
to
real
people
monkey's
whose
paw.
dreams come true?
I hope it's not a monkey's paw. Like, what's going to happen to Kira Buckland?
Well,
Now
she
that
had
her
to
dreams
say
come true.
things like Stone Ocean, my stand
Yeah.
Oh, right.
will take me out of here. That's awkward. Jackie, do you
That's
want
not
to
so
read?
bad.
It's not the worst. It's like a very minor
No.
monkey's paw. It's like you stub your toe because you got a new car or something. Like,
Yeah.
This email is from Chad. Subject line is worst prison cellmate ever? Aloha JJB Pod Ohana. First, I need to ask, did anyone else completely freak out when the parakeet, Pichan, popped his head open, revealing human arms, or was that just me? We are definitely back to watching JoJo. Also, if Gwess is able to reference the Dolly Parton song Jolene, do you think that means that every other musical act referenced by a character name or stand name exists in the world of JoJo? Anyway, let's do some JoJo voice connections. One of the 3 guards beyond the gunpoint that Jolene has to hide from shares his voice actor with the old kung fu master from Hinamatsuri. And that's all I got. Everyone stay safe and stone free. Mahalo, Chad. P.S. In Ranma 1/2, there's a cute little black pig that mysteriously starts showing up at the Tendo residence, and Akane decides to adopt him and name him P-chan. Do you think the fake parakeet's name is a reference to this? Maybe.
It's got to be a reference to something.
Well, I've seen P-chan translated as Copy-chan on... Well, in the dub, they say the parrot's name is Copy-chan. And then I think one of the fan translations of the comic does the same thing. And I wonder if maybe it is because parrots mimic people. And so they copy you. And so maybe that is what Japanese people are trying to do with P-chan. I don't know, though, because they can say kopi. I think they even have that as like a loan word.
Yeah, so it's short for kopi.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because if they said ko-chan, they'd be like, child, it is a child. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Loan words used to be very fucky with Japanese to English. But I also, we'll talk about it later, but Jolene's nickname in this episode took me forever to figure out. And I finally did about an hour or so ago.
Nickname? Oh, I see.
Choro Kichi or whatever.
Ah, you caught it. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about Chorokichi when we get there.
Okay, we'll get there.
No, fuck it. Let's talk about it now, because last time I said I'd get to something, and then I forgot
Let's do it.
Guess or Gwess, whatever.
Gwess.
It's Guess.
It's Guess?
It's Guess.
Why?
It's named after like Guess jeans or whatever.
Oh, are they going to have like DKNY, apple bottom?
I can't spoil it for
I
you.
hope so.
I hope there's an apple bottom.
there might be a very plain looking prisoner named Ugg, maybe that's happening. Who knows?
Okay.
Fubu. Just go through all the brands. Aeropostale. There's a bunch of boats called Old Navy. Anyway, at some point, Guess when she's like trying to train Rat Jolene, she decides to start calling her Chorokichi. And like looking up those words took me forever to figure out that, because it's been translated as simple luck. And then one said like another like fan translation attempt said like happy birthday Chorokichi or something as the name of the chapter, because it's just called Chorokichi Tanjo or something. So it just translated the name as Chorokichi, which isn't helpful. But basically, the Animal Crossing character Rizzo in English is named Choro Choro or something Choro in Japanese. And somebody on an Animal Crossing wiki pointed out that Choro Choro is onomatopoeia for like running around, the way a little rat or little mouse would run around. And then Kichi is just like a common ending for boys' names in Japan. Kenkichi is a name, Yukichi is a name. Apparently it's kind of out of fashion though. You don't really see that as much now with this generation. But it's basically like Gwess is calling Jolene in the rat suit like I don't know, Lil Runs Around or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Lil Runs. Lil Runny.
Little Runny. Little mouse, little mice feet.
Skitters.
Aaron. I don't know.
Yeah, Skitters. Skitters
is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, took me forever to figure that out.
So, back to Gwess. So, it's actually Guess in like the manga and stuff?
The katakana...
No, it is pronounced Gwess.
Yeah,
it
is
like
written as Gwess.
half a letter away from Guess.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't use like the ge character.
Okay.
They use gu.
Because I was gonna ask what that was, because it's like they tried to do like it's a like they tried to combine like Gwen and Jess or something.
My name's Gwessican.
Yeah, when I watched it, I thought it was a reference to like Gwen Stefani or something.
Oh, and like they'd have to cover it up or something.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's just supposed to be fashionable on the same wavelength as Hermes is Hermes. that kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Do we think that the reference they could reference the Dolly Parton song? Do you think that other musical acts referenced by character name or stand name exist in the world of JoJo? I think some of them do and some of them don't.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's an
it's,
interesting question.
if Araki wants them to, then they do. But if not, it's just a regular name. What are you talking about? It's not a band at all. Aerosmith is a thing. You've
Yeah.
all heard that.
What if Wes, in this universe, Wes invented that tune?
She wrote Jolene.
Oh,
I don't know if
because she
the
doesn't
time
sing.
works
She doesn't sing
out.
the rest of the lyrics.
That wouldn't make any sense. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's like maybe her stand starts shrinking stuff and then it becomes a time portal stand. Like she actually goes into a small animal and goes back in time and is near Dolly Parton, just lamenting the fact that she doesn't have her little Chorokichi around. Dolly Parton's like, oh, good.
In the English version, she doesn't actually sing it to the tune of Jolene. She just kind of makes up her own tune
Sadly, yeah.
because they won't
Yeah.
let. I guess in English they won't let you. They won't let you do it.
We're more nervous about copyright
Yeah.
here in the States, which is why last week's episode I used under 10 seconds of the song Jolene, and I did not realize how short a time that is for music.
It's like lean.
No, it's like Jolene. It's like, please don't take my. It just kind of fades out on man. 30 seconds is like what I like to use, but we have 5 episodes missing from our feed, I think, because of DMCA bullshit. So
Oh no.
I am
How
trying.
does copyright apply if you speed up the song? Like, what if you play Jolene at double speed?
I think at double speed we'd be safe, but I think we'd also have very confused listeners.
What if
Yeah, I
just do
could-
it at negative speed? Slow it
Yeah,
down.
make it really slow.
Have you ever done that where you watch a show on YouTube and you're like, it's like a bad rip, but you're like, what is wrong with their voices? And then you
Oh, yeah.
realize they sped it up like by 10%.
A
and
little
it's
bit,
all
yeah.
fucky. Or like sometimes they'll have
Love
the
that.
image bouncing around the screen. Yeah. Anyway, please don't pirate our podcast. If our voices sound different, hey,
How do you? Okay, yeah, agreed. Don't pirate the podcast.
people could send MP3s around. They could do it.
Yeah, on Napster.
Yeah, burn CDs with this podcast on them.
Hell yeah. I'm sure someone's burned this podcast to a CD. Maybe.
Why?
Maybe one person. Well, if you're like traveling or something and you don't know how to download to your phone and
Yeah.
it's 1995, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, write in if you've done that, anyone. If
Yeah,
you know
anyone.
how to email.
It's my turn, right?
Yep.
If you know how to email, I just heard that. This email is from Pamela. Subject line is, she did the thing. She sang the song. Our lives are complete now. Hey there, JJB Pod. Last week's episode was very entertaining as always. I had such a huge smile on my face listening to you guys talk about JoJo again. A quick note from episode 1, I really do like Jolene's personality and how she assesses situations. It would have been disappointing if they had just made her a female Jotaro. I'm happy she leans more into the silliness or stupidity of Joseph and Josuke. Those characters played a big part in the appeal of their stories. I think we need a break from the serious JoJos like Giorno or Jotaro. There seems to be something going on between Romeo and that rat, elf, snake, crocodile, chihuahua looking lawyer. The way he was holding Romeo close after ruining Jolene's life was very suspicious. Regarding episode 2, I think Stonefree's intro is one of the most satisfying stand introductions. It drives home how stands protect you no matter what, even if you don't understand them completely. Gwess is absolutely insane. She should get some professional help. That being said, her character design is gorgeous, and her stand is terrifying. Violence is never the answer, but it was really funny when she was crying herself to sleep after getting beat up by Jolene. Distant Dreamer, that's the ending, is a beautiful song. It makes me emotional. I think it's a perfect ending. Question, what is your favorite introductory scene for the JoJo thus far? The JoJo madness never ceases to hypnotize me. Feels great to be back. P.S. The horniness continues because nothing beats a good yada yada.
Indeed.
Lot to say there. I do agree. I didn't think about it, but yeah, like Josuke is a little bit sillier, not quite as silly as Joseph, but he's more lighthearted. Like his intro is him just being like, I'm trying to touch a turtle because I'm disgusted by turtles. They freak me out. So I'm trying to touch it to get over it. And then, he just beats up some punks after being humiliated by them. Whereas,
I think that's
Jotaro,
my favorite intro
Me
to
too.
a JoJo character.
Josuke's
Josuke.
pretty good that way, yeah. I mean, Jonathan's probably a sillier intro as well, but probably not as on purpose.
Yeah.
The
True.
fact that he's just some pampered, dumbass rich kid running around. I don't know. I don't think he like looks cool. He's not like perched on some rooftop or whatever.
No.
Jackie, what's your fave intro if you can remember one?
I just remember Joseph walking around New York as a young guy. I don't know. I like Joseph.
Yeah, I think I might like Joseph's as well because he just like beats up a bunch of cops, and then isn't he like, hey, I can't hear you to somebody, or am I thinking of somebody else? But yeah, Joseph's intro fight where he saves Smokey is very fun. He makes a cop jam his finger through his nose, which looks extremely painful. He beats them with the power of Coca-Cola and Hamon together. It's pretty awesome.
Together at last.
Yeah, two great tastes that go great together. Just ham powering. Sorry, Hamon is ham to me. Yeah, what do you guys think of the ED this second time around? Because I heard it the first time we watched it, but I liked it a lot this second time around. I think I was disappointed it wasn't a recognizable pop song, but it's good.
The ending?
I remember Duffy.
You do?
Too.
She like
I don't know who
she
that
came
is.
out. She's like in the vein of like those like Naughty Knots bluesy UK singers. Like she was like in the same vein as like Adele when she first came out, or like Amy Winehouse when she was alive.
Oh, I didn't
so
know
the song
that.
is from 2008.
Yeah.
I wasn't super familiar with it at the time, but I do remember Duffy.
She had one hit, but I forget it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it,
Duffy.
Mercy.
Single Mercy?
but it
Yeah.
sounded nice.
So same album as the song Mercy.
How does the song Mercy go?
Oh, mercy, mercy me. No, that's not it.
That's it.
No.
That's
I
it.
don't
Oh my
remember how it
god.
goes.
She wasn't that good apparently. But
Whoa.
she did get a Grammy nomination. So
Good for her.
perhaps we should check it out sometime. I thought that maybe they used this song because it has that old school. Her vocals and the vocal effects made me think of like an old school like 50s or 60s country singer,
Definitely, yeah. Same.
you know? So maybe that same vibe is there because there's a few country references in this episode.
They should have put like a Pitbull song.
You're always going to want somebody
should've-
from
You know what? Yeah.
the 305.
Florida, yeah.
They should, huh?
Florida.
Yeah, they should have put somebody from Florida.
Right.
They should have put like Trick Daddy and Trina.
No. Well, I mean, knowing Araki, he's more likely at this point, at least, to put in like Tom Petty or something. I mean, he has used Tom Petty.
Is he from Florida?
He's from Florida.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
But you're talking South Florida. South Florida.
Well, that's just because that's what I like. But like, you can pick anybody from Florida. They should have just picked somebody from Florida.
He might get there.
Okay.
He does.
Yeah,
break-
we have another song. We have a second ED eventually.
Oh yeah, and we also just have a million more musical references.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do know the song Mercy, by the way. I just looked up the lyrics, and I thought that this was just an old song. Like, I thought it was like a
'Cause it
60s
has that old
song,
school
but
sound,
it's like,
yeah.
you got me begging you for mercy.
Oh,
that one, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this song's way better than
Good
that.
song.
What? You don't like that song?
Not really. Not
Oh, I like
not
it.
the little bit I remember.
I like it.
I don't like it.
But I like
Do you
the
like
ending
Jackie's
song.
rendition?
Yeah, that's good.
It was okay.
I recognize the song from what Jackie sang.
I liked it too.
Yeah, it worked.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, this article about Duffy on Wikipedia wants you to know that this article is not about the English male singer born in 1941 named Duffy Power.
Okay.
So
Okay, good to know.
that's somebody we have to know about.
It's not about Duffy the Dampire Slayer.
And it's not about Duffy the Dampire Slayer. No.
The Vampires.
It could be Duffy the Dampier Slayer. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like slaying half vampires.
It could be.
Wow. Anyway, what is this show about?
I mean, it used to be about vampires.
That's true. Used to be about vampires and then the legacy of a half vampire, kind of. Technically. 3/4 vampire. No, 1/4 vampire. I don't know. Whatever the ratio of head to body is, it's that.
Mhm.
Okay, those are all the emails that were sent to Jojo's Bizarre Pod at gmail.com. You too can be a minor technical part of history on this podcast if you write to us with your thoughts about JoJo's so far.
You
Don't
may
write about
appear on a
JoJo's in the
burned
future.
CD.
You might show up burned on a CD next to songs like Mercy by Duffy, but not Duffy Power. We also have a Patreon. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/jjbpod and pledge either $1 a month or $3 a month. Both of them get you access to the Patreon feed, which includes Miles's weekly cultural reference newsletter and any extra content that we have uploaded at times, which might include videos or photos or just some extra audio projects that I decided to do and put on there. But if you go to the $3 level, we will also thank you out loud by name, like so. So thank you so much to Ken Barron, Kasoon, Caleb, Lord Zendar, Jumbo, Katie, Bloof, Nocturnal, Kenny, Mr. Jackpots, Caden, Nick, Austin, Tim, Tyler, Martin, Michael, Christian, and Chad.
Yay!
We greatly appreciate your support.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So again, that is patreon.com/jjbpod. So why don't we just take a quick few minutes break, and then we'll come back and talk more at length about episode 2 of the Stone Ocean anime, which is called... I closed the Wikipedia tab, but I believe Prisoner F.
We had me going, baby.
Yes. Prisoner number, whatever.
Yeah, we will talk more about Prisoner FE 308, whatever the hell. We'll be back in a moment.
I don't get it. What do I do with this Blaseball?
You can talk about it later, Miles. We need to talk about Stone Ocean, episode 2.
Stone Ocean.
Prisoner FE, with Jolene's prisoner number and name, which is really the Goo Goo Dolls episode, or the Gwess episode. I have some trivia to tell you, because you might have thought, woof, this isn't a new anime. Mark can't tell us any trivia and shit that only he cares about. But you're wrong. I figured out a way to do it. This covers chapters 4 through 8 of the Stone Ocean manga, mostly faithfully. Not as much stuff is cut out as was in the first episode, I think, because they also added shit there. There were some funny original chapters, because when they collect JoJo into volumes, Araki or someone sees these story arcs. And so the first 3 chapters are Prisoner, FE 40536, Jolyne Cujoh, part 1, 2, and 3. But we lose chapter names like P-chan the Parrot, and whatever the hell, Chorokichi's birthday, I think. I think it's like, happy birthday, Chorokichi. Because I guess Jolene as Chorokichi is being born into the rat suit, excuse me. The chapter also opens with Jolene getting her hair cut, and the barber takes out a pair of like electric trimmers and is going to shave her head, and Jolene freaks out, and he's like, that's what we have to do, is shave your head. And then he's like, but I'll save 5 centimeters of hair for $5, 10 centimeters for 10. If you want to keep it all, it's $30. And she just slips him $30. Which implies that like everyone should have their head shaved, but so far like all of the women we've seen have regular length hair. So this guy's just pulling in hundreds or thousands of dollars a day.
We don't know how long Gwess's hair is, because she kind of has a hat on, doesn't she? Or like cornrows or something. It looks like a short. I think it looks short.
As is common with JoJo, we don't know if it's hair or a hat.
Yeah.
To some degree.
I couldn't tell if that was a hat or like maybe cornrows or like both.
I don't know.
Or just a short hairdo.
Don't know if she has a last name either. Just don't know.
Not according to the wiki.
Yeah, it's just Gwess. There's also a rule that was missing that I found if I were reading the comic in its good translation that I have now, because I read the shitty one as well, and yeah, there were some jokes that were missing and stuff. But in the manga version, when Loco Barocco...
Who's that?
Who's named for a fashion, or I think an Italian architect. That's the Onion Cop.
Okay.
The short guy with like the weird bulbous eyes.
He's the warden. We learned that he's the warden.
He's the prison warden. He talks to people with a, I guess, is it a crocodile? Yeah, a hand puppet.
Charlotte.
Crocodile named Charlotte.
It's a pink crocodile.
Right. One of the things cut from the Charlotte / Loco Barocco, who's named after an Italian architect, I think.
Loco Barocco is the name of the warden?
A designer.
Yeah, a designer. Okay, yeah.
Not a fashion designer.
Not his birth name, thank God. No one named him Loco. And they did not do
such a
this
cool name.
while rhyming with his last name. he says something where he gives the rules briefly, and he says, "You are not allowed to remove the list of prisoners detailing their skills." And like Jolene or no one is like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Like
Skills.
there's apparently a list of all the prisoners and their skills, which it almost sounds like Araki accidentally wrote down something about like, do not take Hirohiko Araki's list of characters that are coming up in the manga. It's really weird that it's just kind of glossed over. And yeah. So yeah, I think that haircutting thing would have been fun to see in this episode, but it's okay the way they started.
Mm-hmm.
Which, how did it start?
It starts with the opening, which is really cool and art pop-y and 3D.
Yes, the first time we see the opening officially.
Yes, good.
And it's really good. We talked about it a bit, but Kamikaze Dolga is back to do a 3D JoJo opening. They haven't been since Stardust Crusaders.
Mm-hmm.
And it's excellent. It includes little hints at what's to come. I think the OP's okay.
I like it.
I like when the call and response happens, when the girls are saying like, yes, no, way, or fly, stone, free. I like that part a lot. Overall, not my fave.
I think the ED is more memorable to me.
Me too.
Because I was like, oh, isn't that Duffy?
Duffy.
You could sit there and reminisce about the late aughts.
Which I often do.
The OP song is fun, but I think the tone is like too bright for Stone Ocean. You know?
That could be true, yeah. It's like the last time we heard this kind of like sort of rock or almost not quite punk, but this kind of rock music was like Chase in part 4, I feel. And that had a dark tone to it, both in its drawing and its tone. Whereas, yeah, this feels a little bit more like, yeah, we're a bunch of girls that are going to have fun. And then you see like decapitated animals.
Right.
And little
because
people.
I don't think any of the actual characters, any of the main characters are quite like that. Are like, yeah, girl rock kind of characters at all.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, you know, who knows? Maybe as things go on, we all just wear these rose-colored glasses where we're like, man, they all had so much fun in jail.
Girls just want to have fun, you know?
They do.
So after the opening is when we see the warden Loco Barocco and his pink crocodile named Charlotte, and it's weird. I've written in my notes, this is weird, like multiple times. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Do you think it's weird that they based the prison on freedom and equality?
That was very weird. That doesn't make what what kind of prison?
I mean, do you think this is Araki doing a like commentary on American justice in a
I think he just wanted to write an excuse up front for the fact that
for sure. That like characters could go anywhere.
Yeah, that they're gonna like go up to each other's cells and fight each other and stuff.
And he like knowing like any other author, I'd be like, yeah, okay, this is a commentary on America, thinking we're free, but having this crazy privatized prison system. Yeah. But knowing Araki, no, I don't think so.
I think he just, I think maybe he just didn't want to do a real prison thing where it's like the guards are like, oh, now you got to go shower. Okay, now you got your outside time. They take place
in like one cell for
and
most
like
of it.
Every single like and it would be hard to have like one-on-one battles if everyone has to be in the same places at the same time. You know,
I think it's that, and it's also that I do think that Araki, when he says like Americans are obsessed with freedom, which we are, I'm sure other cultures are too, but we like especially like talk about it all the time.
Mark.
No, but I mean, like, do other countries like carry on about it as much as America does?
As an identity thing.
I think we're unique about personal freedoms more so than other countries are. I don't
know if that's true.
Okay.
I think it is. Well, I mean, didn't we inherit the concept of like liberalism and that kind of thing from like the French or something? Or am I thinking of democracy? I don't know.
I don't know.
A little bit, but in terms of like America making that their one defining trait, yeah.
Yeah, that one like amorphous thing that you couldn't even draw a picture of. It's like, what the fuck? Like freedom, like, yeah, that's good. That's not specific enough, but that is something that we love to talk about. And so the idea of like, yeah, it's a prison, but America's trait is freedom. Right. Whereas like if it were French, I don't know, it'd be a prison made out of bread or something, whatever they do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I do want to say though, like on the topic, I think it's really interesting that Araki, like all of the prison guards here are portrayed as corrupt, right? Like everyone will take money and nobody.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the entire prison who's like, well, some of the guards will take money, but you know, watch out for this one because they actually follow the rules. Like none of them follow the rules.
Yeah.
And I think throughout JoJo, like Araki kind of portrays most cops as corrupt. Like in every part,
It's
there's
true.
kind of corrupt cops.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point of reference.
Somewhat related, but also unrelated. I just realized that so far all of the men in this are bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Men are just bad.
True.
Well, the
Batman.
warden is doing his job the best that
Didn't-
he can,
didn't he-
but he's a piece
He's
of shit, I don't
definitely
know.
evil. Look at his
Yeah.
hideous appearance.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
in Iraqi world, hideous people are usually evil.
usually that is true. Shigechi was okay. Shigechi was reformed.
So the warden
Eventually.
the warden explains that you're free to walk around, shower whenever you want, use the library or the study. If you want, some people can have a TV in your cell. If you want to study, you can bring books and you can go to the library. You can take out books, and it sounds really nice.
It sounds
Very
honestly
permissive
like
prison.
it sounds like prisons in other countries.
It sounds like a resort.
like in like Northern Europe, and like even Jackie and I watched the beginning of that Colonia Dignidad docu-series on Netflix, and it's like this like crazy cult German guy,
But there is no prison
and
there.
their prison, they're interviewing him in jail, and it just looks like a nice like retirement home.
I totally did not realize he was in prison.
Yeah,
I didn't realize until you said
pretty
that
positive
just now.
that was jail. Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
Also, are there men and women in the prison?
Yeah, I think they have. It's
They're
sectioned off.
separated, but yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it is interesting. The only good cop I can think of, by the way, might be Josuke's grandpa.
Yeah.
Who's like the
Actually,
not
good
the
point.
police chief of Morio, but that's also
And
because
he's
Morio.
dead because the only good cop.
Oh,
Yeah.
another good one. Wasn't there a dog named Police?
That's true. In part 4, Koichi's dog is named Police.
So that's
a
good
different
one.
kind of
The one good,
police, though.
the one good police. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most
Yeah.
pro-cop chapter of JoJo's.
All cops
but
are
no,
bloodhounds.
I was sort of thinking how, especially in part 5, you see like nobody really trusts in the world of JoJo. Nobody really trusts authority, and when people do, it turns out bad for them. So it's pretty interesting to see that just like become the entire backdrop of part 6.
Mm.
Yeah, that is a good point too. And yeah, part 5, it's like there's the mafia, but then it's sort of like, yeah, we end the mafia. We kind of do our own thing. They don't become like a structureless system. Like they rule, they reign in
Right.
hell instead of serve in heaven. Wow, look how deep we're getting. What were we talking about? We were talking about the orientation process.
Yeah. So
Freedom.
what do you think his deal is with the pink crocodile, Charlotte?
I don't know why this quirk is here. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, what does this mean? What is the point of this? I don't understand.
Is it like,
I think he's going to be a guy later. You know?
Maybe.
does he think of the prisoners as children maybe, and that's why he needs to talk to them with a puppet?
Maybe.
I like that.
Maybe it's just the sort of cheap, same idea as like the veneer of being like, this is a free jail and you can do anything you want here. It's just like, like that's bullshit. Just like that puppet
There's
is
like this
bullshit. It's
friendly.
you.
This puppet's
Like,
friendly.
Yeah, you're
until
talking.
you talk back to him.
Right. That's the thing too. Is it's an excuse for him to be like, look, I'm nice to the young people, but then when she doesn't wait to be called on, then he just screams at her about the earrings or whatever. It might just
Yeah.
be for that gag.
There are rules to this prison though. I didn't write them down, but like one of them is like inmates can't lend each other things, can't borrow or lend from each other.
No metal objects.
Yeah.
I think.
And I don't remember what there was one more. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't know if those were in the manga or if I just fixated on the part about not touching the list of prisoners and their skills.
It's a pretty good bit.
Yeah.
You know, actually, what now thinking about like the freedom thing and like it seems just like college. Like they're all just dorming and they can kind of just
Yeah. Oh, right. That's
is
what I was.
dorm if not a prison?
Yeah.
That's right. You're all just here to have fun, but you can never leave. Is what I was thinking about was like, yeah, Araki. It's definitely, it's an excuse to have the plot like flow more freely, but also he does. I don't remember if it's in manga only or anime only. I should stop thinking in those terms. But at some point, it is said like you don't have to wear a uniform or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They say that I think about like the holding jail that she's in at first, but then they proceed to never make her wear a uniform. But if you look, everyone's drawn as though they're wearing like a cape of a uniform, you know, like it just has like one single button so they can still show off their little JoJo outfits underneath it. It's not like a full button-up shirt. And the thing is, to me, is that, not only would characters be fighting over each other's uniforms, you know, like if you have to trade stuff to survive, you know, and people would charge you for anything, then people would obviously be like, give me your fucking suspenders, you know, give me those cool buttons that they only make in Italy. And your hair, you know, like no inmate would actually be able to maintain their crazy hairdo. People would be like beating each other up to take out the cool, ridiculous zigzag metal clamps they have in their hair or whatever.
Maybe we're just making these assumptions. Like maybe we don't, like if we had more faith, we could have prisons like this in America.
Yeah, I don't really think faith is something you should try to cash in on. I don't know.
Anyway, so after orientation, they take Jolene to her cell, where she meets her new roommate.
Did you think she was evil from the jump when you saw Guess? I think it's a really cool opening shot of her chilling in the back of the cell.
I just wrote down that she was a babe, so that was my first impression.
She's a babe, absolutely.
She's a babe. Yeah, she has a cool style to her. And then immediately, like, Jolene tries to go on the top bunk, to the bottom bunk, and Gwess freaks out, and it really, like, I don't know. I've noticed how this show, it happens, I think, every season, but it's like the characters go from like 0 to 100. Like, it's like calm, and then suddenly it's like yelling, like, and it's like there's colors, and it's like scary, and it's like you're just having an argument, but it's like there's no in between that. It's just like things are chill or things are like super intense.
Yeah, Guess definitely has like bipolar vibes to her.
Yeah.
In very short time spans. But she tries to hit her kind of with a barbell. I don't know if she throws it or if she just swings it at her.
Oh yeah.
But it just seems to graze her.
Why are you allowed to have a barbell? You can't have a barbell.
If you're allowed to have TV...
Working out.
I guess, you know, if like you're allowed to have a TV, then they might also let you work out privately. But I guess maybe Guess is good at holding back her violent side when she's in front of authority. Because, look, I'll just ask it right now while it's on the top of my head. Where did the parrot come from in the jail? I understand getting a rat in a prison, but like, and I'm not that familiar with Florida's fauna, but do parakeets
definitely
just
have
fly
parrots
around
in
there,
Florida.
Jackie? You've been to South Florida many times. You ever see a parrot?
I've not seen them just like in the wild.
All
They
right.
have parakeets in Edgewater, New Jersey.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did not know that. I
Just
gotta go to Edgewater.
Just like flying around?
Just like living in the trees.
Wow.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, I can't really remember
I assume
what
they live in
birds-
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, I
They
can't really
commute.
remember what birds I saw. I don't feel like there's no pigeons there. I don't remember seeing any pigeons.
What? There's gotta be
I don't
pigeons
remember
there.
seeing
Pigeons
any.
will go anywhere and they don't give a fuck about humans. So I feel like continental
Maybe
US.
Disney World killed all the pigeons
Oh, no.
in the area.
All the pigeons got on this one ride that decapitated them all.
Do you know the thing about Disneyland and there's no birds in Anaheim, California?
No.
What?
It's a real thing where like if you go to Anaheim, California, where Disneyland is, there are no like wild pigeons. There's no just like street pigeons. Reportedly because Disneyland does something to cull the pigeon population so that if you're a family going to Disneyland, you won't get pooped on.
Wow.
They do that near
Wow.
airports, too. They just murder all
That
the
makes
birds
sense.
that they can.
Because they
Well,
would
that's-
explode the engines or
Yeah,
something.
they would just fly into the turbines.
Oh,
It would be
man.
fucked because that does happen. There are like 20 species of parakeets in Florida.
Just flying around.
Okay.
Um,
And Gwess took one.
yeah, Gwess snatched one.
One like flew in through the bars or something. You know, when she's like looking out the window, masturbating to the
light.
to the
Moonlight.
sunlight going
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
clouds or whatever.
That sexy moonlight.
a parakeet flew through those windows.
In this prison,
Yeah.
they probably let you just have pets.
That might be true too. But this to me feels like a thing that we've definitely seen in, I think, Shawshank Redemption, or maybe I'm also thinking of Green Mile. But there's some famous prison movie where the guy has a little bird or a little rat in his pocket,
little rat friend,
so it feels like it's that prison trope specifically.
Little mouse.
Yeah.
And Araki maybe,
tracks.
he may have looked up a parrot that was in Florida. And goddamn, does he get mileage out of the parrot? Like, he really practices drawing the parrot. The funniest thing to me in these chapters is when Gwess tells the parrot, like, now jump to my finger. There's a shot of the parrot looking like scared at like the reader from the manga panel, and there's like scared like I don't know what you call it.
So like eyes wide open.
Not really. No, it just looks like a bird.
Okay.
But it just has that like big like splash of color behind it, like like it's scared. It's funnier that it doesn't have big eyes, that it is just a bird. God, yeah, that's definitely my favorite part of the show so far. But anyway, she meets Gwess. Gwess is like very possessive over the bottom bunk, and she has the amulet, the charm thingy that Jolene thought she threw into the drain, and no one complained.
Just sitting
about.
on the bed.
It's just chilling there.
And Jolene's like, I want that, and she's like, $200. She's like, whoa, never mind. Oh, yeah. And then that's where we see like the bird tries to eat something, but it's like you just see like arms coming out of the head, out of the neck.
Yeah, the bird's head comes off, and we see that human hands have like pushed the head off, and it grabs cookies off the desk and takes them back
into...
This is the most
what show there is.
It's such a great moment.
It is also 0 to 100.
Yeah, and I just love that like Jolene can't just call it out. She's just like, what? And then Guest continues talking about whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is with that bird?
Don't you think that's worth interrupting?
Yeah.
Well, maybe...
Is there a human being inside of that bird?
Maybe she's just like, I don't want to cause any trouble.
That's true.
She went crazy.
You don't want to be rude about the man inside the bird.
Yeah, no. Hey, man, it's your bird. Like, do whatever you want.
I think she'd be right, too. I do feel like Guest would freak out if she brought up the fact that there appears to be a tiny human in the bird. And since it's been a long time since I read JoJo, watching this for the first time earlier last week, I did think, like, I don't remember what this power is. Like, I was sitting there like, what the fuck is this? Like, I didn't think like, oh, it's someone she stuffed into a bird. I was like, is the bird fake? Does the bird have powers? Like, what the fuck is it? Was
you forgot?
Very confusing. Yeah,
it is a good curveball from Araki because you're thinking like, how is this a power? Which part of this is the power?
Yeah, or is it another stand user that is fucking with Guess and she doesn't even know that her bird is fake? That was something I remember thinking too. I was like, does she not know? But yeah, then she appears to be friends with Jolene, where she's like, I'm sorry.
She's like, hey, I'm sorry. There was nothing inside the charm. And she's like, sorry, I'm shy around new people. It's my fault. Let's be friends. And it's like, she's trying to be nice.
And that's in the next morning. But Jolene cries herself to sleep and says, I'm so lonely I could cry.
Aww.
Which is probably a reference to the Hank Williams song, I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Okay.
Which I think Hank Williams is a country singer, right? Old school country singer?
That's right. I think she also says too much is happening all at once, which is also like a tagline for this entire series.
Oh, okay.
By the way, their bed is huge. Like, I was like, that bunk bed is like that's not a twin bed.
Bunk bed.
Yeah, that's a queen. Exactly. It's huge. What a comfortable prison.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to go there.
Only in Florida.
Only in Florida. I'm sure it has super nice prisons that birds fly in and out of, and it's great. What's next? I don't remember.
So she tries to be all nice, and then Jolene is like, "Aw, okay, we're friends, whatever." And then Jolene gets up off the bed because they're going to breakfast. Jolene gets up off the bed with her pants, and like the floor is all wet, and she gets her pants wet, and the girl goes to Gwess goes to eat, and Jolene stays behind to clean up and to fix her pants, I guess. I don't remember what she does about her pants, but they're wet.
Yeah, she cleans up the water, and she's wearing her pants later, so I assume she dried them out or something. Yeah.
And then she goes down to eat, but all the food is sold out, and like, I guess that's just the thing about freedom. You're free to be late and not get any food, and other people are free to eat all your food.
Yeah, and the cook says something like, or the worker at the little cafeteria says something like, "That's one of the 7 wonders or 7 rules of the prison."
Yeah, 7 Wonders or something.
And reading the comic, it still didn't make any fucking sense. I think she says it for 2 different things too. Like the cook is like, "That's another rule of the prison," and it's like, that's not a rule. You're naming a phenomenon that happens. Like you're saying, like people steal from each other. That's not a rule. I mean, I guess it kind of is.
Well, it's not steal from. It's not like your food is rationed and you can only have one helping. It's like
I think it is.
No, I think it's just like like a buffet, on a college campus when they have like the food that like is out and that you pick up your tray and you go and you pick whatever you want. They make a certain amount and people can go and take as much as they want, but then
yeah, maybe it's that. And yeah, in the comic, Jolene's complaining about there not being food, but then another prisoner comes up from the side and the cook just hands them like packaged food, like as though she already like made like a to-go thing. And Jolene's like, "What's the deal?" And she's like, "Oh, people who were working outside on the grounds in the morning can come and take it. That's another rule." And it was like, are these really rules or do you just make up shit?
Yeah.
Because it's just chaos and people take double banana, double milk if they want.
Yeah.
Double banana.
And then
Who eats
so
2 bananas?
I think
Too much
nobody.
banana.
It looked like she ate half of 2 bananas because because it looked like there was still banana. There was still banana in the banana in the peel. You know.
Yeah.
There was still
When I used to work at the office, they had bananas out for us, and somebody, I never figured out who, would come in the morning and slice a banana in half and leave half of the banana in the basket. It's
It's
disgusting.
evil.
That's good if you have like children. Maybe that would work. But yeah, with other
Right,
people,
but not in his workspace.
yeah, you don't want
I would
the
never
banana
pick up
after
a
it's been
stray
opened.
half a banana.
Yeah, just
No.
take the whole banana, eat half of it now, and then eat the other half later in the afternoon.
Or
as a
you
snack.
like ask someone, "Do you want to split a banana with me?"
Yeah.
And give them half right
Yeah.
then. But yeah, if you don't know how long it's been open or anything,
Yeah.
that's weird. Yeah, that
Can't
person's
just
weird,
leave a
Miles.
banana.
You should have an anonymous confession thing like in your company Slack. Let people confess.
But yeah, this is funny.
Who's
to
cutting
me.
those bananas in half 2 years ago?
They're still doing
Messed
it at
up.
home.
Banana thief.
Elliot, what were you going to say?
This is funny to me. I think this is funny to me as Araki's version of what prison hazing looked like, which is like, "Oh, I spilled water on the floor, haha."
Yeah.
I got your $10,000 pants wet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or whatever. But I think
And now you can't eat breakfast.
what is the does she say what the source of the water is in the show?
No.
No, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
I think in the
What do you
comic
think it
it's
is?
something like the clogged sink or something, like water is backed up or something like that. And I think
it's just like hair in the
Okay.
sink or something.
I think S is like, "Oh yeah, I backed up the sink" or something, like she just as though she needed to. So yeah, thankfully it's not piss.
That's good.
We have not had our
I assumed
piss
piss.
moment.
It's not piss colored, but I
Well-
assumed piss.
Yeah, we're getting like as you go a little bit further into a JoJo arc, you just have to be ready for the piss jokes because they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
I
Eventually, there's piss.
It just happens with him and poop. I think a lot of the time.
So when she finds out she can't eat anything, and I think the whole episode she doesn't eat anything, right? We don't see her eat anything.
No.
She's just starved.
No.
Gwes comes by and you see that she has all this food, and you find out that Gwes is the one who spilled the water, and they're not actually friends, and Gwes is mean. That's when you learn they're not actually friends.
We're
'cause
not friends.
I believed it at first. And then Gwes is like hanging out in the hallway somewhere, and she starts talking to her bird, and that's when it's just
Yeah.
weird. Oh, right.
But
Oh,
don't
sorry.
forget what Jolene finds in the trash.
Yes. She threw out a picture of her parents, so she did have the contents of the charm potentially.
Yeah, she said like, "I did get the amulet, but someone sold it to me
It
for
was
$2.
empty.
It was empty."
Yeah.
And then,
But she threw out
probably
the
not
picture.
the case considering it's the day's trash. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Jolene was able to retrieve that from the trash.
There's so much food in the trash.
Yes, I'm glad
It's
you
a very
said so.
funny shot.
It was
Yeah.
extremely full. It was like compacted, but like 4 solid
Like-
feet of trash.
Yeah. Of
It's
food.
like everybody who goes to the prison breakfast buffet gets
Mhm.
like food for 3 people and finishes half of that.
Yeah.
They're just dumping half of each thing that they bite into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later, Jolene does do a swaparoo on Gwes, and she does swap in like half a banana, to her hand. So maybe
Hmm.
then Jolene did eat like part of a banana.
No, I think she got it from the trash.
You think she just gave her a half trash banana?
Yeah.
Oh, trash banana.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
All
Now
right.
they work at my job.
Because it looked sliced. It looked, it was a nice clean cut.
Yeah, so Gwess is talking to the bird and she's like, I love you and you love me and, do learn to fly and jump or whatever. And she's talking to the bird and it's crazy because she's
It's one
talking
of
to
my
a bird.
favorite scenes ever. It's so good.
And so she tells the bird to jump in from her shoulder to like her finger, or not jump, but fly. And so it does it, and then the bird goes, whoa!
Yeah.
And she's like, whoa! And she gets
Yeah.
really mad at the bird. Birds don't do that.
Yeah, it's
She's like, where are you from that birds say whoa?
Yeah, it's just like the bird lands on her finger, but it's a little unsteady, and the bird's like, whoa, like steadying itself. And she's
Yeah.
like, what? Whoa.
Excuse me?
It's such a funny thing because I don't know why, but just the drawing, especially of seeing a bird go, whoa, like, it should not work.
So we all know that this isn't a real bird, that there's a tiny person inside this bird.
Yeah.
What do you think Gwess believes? Do you think that not believes, but why do you think Gwess wants this person to act like a bird?
Well, she says they're going to escape together, and I think she needs people to think it's just a bird flying away, that it's not a person.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yes.
Like, it's not like a
You're
person's
right, that
running
she
to the
is-
control center.
Yeah.
It's
That she
like-
was going to plan an escape with the bird.
Why would you even
Yeah, I think
escape
she
from
says
this
they'll escape.
chill-ass prison?
Because you want to commit crimes, probably.
I think if you have a power
Yeah,
like
more
that,
crimes.
I
Who
think
knows
if
what
you
Gwess
have
is in here for?
I think if you have a power like that, you have to try to escape. Like, why wouldn't you?
You
I
might
feel
think
like-
that it was given to you for a purpose.
It's like, I can make people tiny. We can just, that's so easy now. It's like, we can slip through the bars and open the door for me.
But she can't make herself tiny.
Yeah.
No.
But,
That's the problem.
okay. How much of her doing that is like for her own amusement? Does she really want
yes.
this thing to
Most
be a
of it.
bird?
Yeah, some of it's her own amusement and just her humiliating people that she knows she's shrunk into an animal, including
Because
this
the animal
guard.
thing is like has nothing to do with the stand. She
Yeah.
can just shrink people and then just have control over them. But no, the part where she puts them into a dead animal carcass, that's all Gwess. That's all Gwess, baby.
I do think that she thinks that they'd be like better camouflaged that way, but it would be like the slowest, most awkward rat you've ever seen if it ran past you.
I think she prefers, because she wants them to be cute and she wants them to talk cute to her. Like, that has
Yes.
nothing to do with the plan.
I think that's just like a bonus
Yes.
for her. That
Yeah.
she's like,
That
yeah,
is a
'cause
bonus, yeah.
she says like you can't talk unless you say something in a really cute voice, like
Yeah.
"I love you" or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there were very funny translation attempts that I think really worked in English
hmm
later. But
Yeah. So anyway, I relate to Gwess because I like cute things as well. But yeah, it
Okay.
could also be about control. Like you have to do what I say now. You're my tiny doll. You're my puppet.
Yeah, that's how I took it also.
we should probably move a little bit faster. I'm trying to think though,
All
because
right.
so much shit does happen in this episode that it is hard to.
Okay, well,
Pick out.
this is where Jolene replaces the bird with the banana, and then Jolene is running off with the bird, and she notices that the bird, its head is weird, and that's when she starts seeing just hands and legs come out of the bird.
Yeah, and this is where it was really hard for me to figure out
When
what
did
this was because she just took the bird's head off and just bloody limbs fall out.
when did
Yeah, there's
Quest kill?
no torso in there.
Yeah,
There's no torso,
Or
there's
head.
no head. Jackie, Gwess did not do that, I don't think. I believe Goo Goo Dolls, her stand, is inside
Oh.
the bird corpse.
Oh.
And when Jolene exposes it by taking its head off, Goo Goo Dolls freaks out and just chopped up the shrunken person inside.
Okay.
But she doesn't know that. She doesn't know
didn't
the
think of
stand
that.
is there. The
Yes.
stand just knows I'm far from my user and I'm being exposed.
Okay.
Because like Jolene, at this point, stands are like something you kind of understand, something you kind of control,
Mm-hmm.
but not 100%.
Okay. Well, then Gwess finds her and turns her small, and that's scary. And that's
Yeah.
when we
There's
learn.
a really cool art transition here when the JoJo moment where the color palette shifts.
Mm.
The way they do it here is very cool. Where when Jolene realizes that she's small and all the colors shift.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's like
'cause-
blood on the wall. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's blood next to a giant electrical outlet, but it's no, you've shrunk.
Yeah.
And all that blood was from you kicking a tiny corpse, so that Gwess couldn't see it. And then Gwess takes her back into the cell and throws a rat corpse at her
Yeah.
and says,
Oh, she sings Jolene here. That's
Oh,
very
yes.
important. Yeah.
In the Japanese, it's closer to the original melody.
Yeah,
It's not a perfect rendition, certainly, but
it's very close.
yeah, in the English one, it sounds like someone who's never heard Jolene is singing Jolene.
Yeah.
But I do think that
Legally
both.
distinct.
Yeah, I think both voice actors here are great. It's Kira Buckland doing Jolene, obviously, and Gwess is voiced by Amber Lee Connors, who has done a bunch of video game voices,
Mm.
including she was recently Eno in the latest Guilty Gear.
Cool.
And along with Kira Buckland, they both are voices in Honey Pop,
Mm.
a game I have never played.
We also, around this time, is when we learned that the name of the stand is GG Dolls or Google Dolls
Google Drive.
or Cry Cry Dolls.
Cry Cry Dolls is this is like an early awful stand localization name. This
Yeah.
is
It is.
bad. Goo Goo doesn't have anything to do with Cry Cry. I guess they're both noises babies make.
Goo Goo
Baby
Gaga.
noises.
It should be Wah Wah Dolls.
They should have called it Gaga.
Hey, Gaga dolls.
Gaga Dolls.
Well, then that sounds like Lady Gaga, and they're gonna chicken out
Yeah.
about Lady Gaga as well.
Yeah.
It's-
Wow.
You can't win.
Wow.
Google
Dolls.
dolls.
It's like fart dolls, something poop dolls. I don't know.
Pee-pee dolls.
Yeah, diaper dolls. I don't know. Something. Miles, as a father, do you feel any of these words click more than others?
No, they're all good.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Yeah, Gwess throws the rat corpse.
She's like, get inside the rat.
Yeah, get in the fucking robot.
She's like, the rat's better because birds can't hold things. So you'll be in a better position because you have hands.
Yeah. There's
I
no
didn't
telling.
realize how human-like rat hands are.
Yeah, they're definitely better than.
She must
Yeah.
be like. Gwess must have been very intricate about skinning that rat. Then, if they can be worn as gloves,
Mm.
it's very tiny.
Yeah, she
Very
removed
good
all
with
the
a knife.
organs, but
Maybe
yeah,
that's why she's in there.
just awful animal crimes. Yeah.
Oh no.
It makes sense too because you can't put your hands in wings. You can't hollow out a bird's wings. They're just filled with hollow bones, But rats, you could maybe control the paws a little bit. But yeah, it is like what she got each finger in the claw like a glove.
She
Like
just took all the bones out of the arms so that you can put your hands in.
fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe not so much in the anime, but in the comic, Jolene looks kind of cute in the rat body. I can't describe it. It's just like this because it's kind of a cute animal girl thing. I don't know. It's just
Okay.
funny.
That's all right.
Um,
You see where Gwess is coming from now.
I get it a little bit more now. It definitely works.
She makes her run on a little wheel.
that she made out of matchsticks.
I like this. I like that. Yeah, it's very.
Did
funny.
she got this rat like amazingly fucking gutted it and stuff, and then also built a bunch of rat training tools out of matchsticks.
Like,
Gwess
why?
is really talented.
Yeah.
She's good.
She's really good at arts and crafts.
Yeah, she somehow does that ridiculous hair and makeup every day, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
This is where we learned that the tiny person that was killed, that was inside the bird, was a guard.
Who was fired for being lazy.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
everyone thinks just went home already, but he never made it home.
No.
she also tells Jolene that you can't talk because you're a rat, but if you want to talk in a cutesy way, I'll allow
Yeah, and you can say, I love you.
it.
Yeah.
And she also quotes. It sounds like she's quoting like the Bible or something, or she's saying something about God
It's John.
created things and named things and stuff.
It's the book of John, chapter 1, verse 2 and 3, which read like someone who's giving a presentation for the first time, like they haven't proofread or anything. It's like really awkward to read. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and He was with God.
Yeah.
And God made everything through the Word. And without the Word, nothing has been made that had not been made. It's like, it's really weird. And it's also strange detail because it's not like Guess is constantly quoting the Bible. It's like she says all
I got
of those.
something for this though.
It is just in this context, it is just sort of a strange thing to like do this whole wind up to be like everything needs a name. And it is weird that she says, I mean, like let's cut the crap with the fake names. That she's like, I'm gonna call it Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
And then later, this thing that she doesn't quite speak through, doesn't quite control, is like Goo Goo Dolls. Like, would it have said?
It's like a Pokemon. It learned.
Would it have said anything? Could she have called it any other band name, and would it repeat that, or did she just pretend to invent the name when it came out of her already saying Goo Goo Dolls? You know, it's more of that weird mystery.
Pokemon. Where's the name come from?
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying like when Pikachu says Pikachu, that might not actually be a good name for it. It's just that's what that little rat says.
Like, did Pikachu
so
say Pikachu first, or did they name it Pikachu and then it started saying Pikachu?
Ah, I see. Huh.
Who knows?
I don't know who taught
Chicken and egg.
Meowth to speak then.
Yeah.
Wow. They trained it.
Meowth has a whole backstory episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've not seen that.
I don't remember it. Anyway, so Gwess has a plan. She wants to break out of the prison. She's going to use her tiny pet to do it. And she's like, you're going to go through these bars. You're going to get to the control room. You're going to open the doors, and then we're going to walk out, I guess, is the plan. Even though there's guards and shit.
And you're going to make note of the cameras, something.
Yeah. So Jolene, as a rat, goes and starts to do this. I don't know why she doesn't just attack Gwess with her string powers at this point.
Well, she doesn't really know what they can do.
But then again, I guess it's because she's small. Like, she needs Gwess to turn her big again.
Yeah, we don't see if she has like a small stand.
Yeah,
she might, because like I think that's
got their power first.
Jolene.
Oh, that's a good point. Jolyne would have had to, but then that means Gwess just got this like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So she just picked it up faster.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
In jail, you have to be quick on your feet and think fast and maybe learn how to skin animals. Not skin, gut animals for the first time.
Gotcha.
So Jolene is, she crosses through to where the guards are and stuff, and she's looking for the control room, but she realizes, oops, she's starting to get bigger. The rat costume is breaking because she's now getting too big for it. And the guards hear some noise. I guess they hear her stretching and making noises.
Yeah, the costume ripping is what they hear. She's under one of the guard desks.
Yeah. And so she realizes that it's because she's now far away from the stand user, and so distance is a factor. So she's far away from Gwess, and that's why she's getting bigger. So she creates a distraction with coffee. She spills coffee when the guards are like looking for something because they hear a noise. And she's able to distract them and escape.
Yeah, she jumps onto the one guard who gets coffee spilled on him. She jumps onto his coat. So when he picks up his coat to leave and clean, she's in it and then jumps out while he walks away.
So she tries to now just go back and leave because she's getting big and she wants to go back and I guess tell Gwess.
Yeah, abort the mission.
Yeah. But now her Google Dolls, Googie, I can't say it.
Goo Monster.
Goo Goo Dolls starts chasing her, and he's like, Goo Goo Dolls.
He's an ugly little fucker too. He
is.
He's a gross, like pointy Bart Simpson shaped head thing.
In a good way.
He looks like the gross one from part 4 that the house one that like latched on your back.
Oh yeah.
You look like that.
Yeah, Cheap Trick.
In my head. I don't remember. Cheap Trick, yeah.
I think that's Cheap Trick, who there's an NHK drama, I don't know if you know that about the Rohan side stories, but they're also going to do an episode out. That story arc is going to have a live action Japanese drama.
Wow.
In about two weeks. End of the year, they're putting out 3 more episodes. 3 or 4 more episodes of the Rohan live action NHK drama.
Amazing.
So look forward to seeing what they do for Cheap Trick.
I need to see that. Okay.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes are pretty good. They came out last year and the same time, end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an ugly
Christmas
little Goo Goo
special.
Dolls. It's chasing Jolene. It slashes at her and like cuts her shoulder open.
Yeah. And then her her stand, her thread stand, her what did they call it? Clumps of yarn stand.
Eventually, she calls it like clumps, but yeah.
Shows up and it's all cool. It's got some glasses and
Well,
what?
to a degree, I think it's. I did tell you to skip stuff.
Okay,
but yes, it's just like
I didn't write down everything at this point.
yeah, she's
No.
getting attacked by it, but then she like climbs into the rafters and she's still expanding, and she expands so much that she can't get out of the rafters, like these support
Okay.
beams against the ceiling. And yeah, that's when she's cornered, and it's gonna swipe at her again,
Mm-hmm.
and then something punches it.
Dun dun dun.
Goo Goo Dolls,
Dun, dun, dun.
and then Goo Goo Dolls tries again. He's like, "Fuck it!" And he goes to slash at her again, and then it gets hammered into the wall by a cool blue stand
Yeah.
made out of wires
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
that wears sunglasses, and yeah, it's like its torso is separate from its legs. And yeah, she notices that threads she's been able to throw around and stuff seems to be grouped together into a stand. But yeah, in the dub, she calls it a clump,
Yeah.
which maybe
Like
she
a-
does in Japanese. I don't know.
Just like a clump of yarn or something.
Yeah, it doesn't sound powerful at all
Mm-hmm.
to just think
And the
of
stand
clumps
is
of
called
yarn.
Professor Clump.
It is not called that.
That's from the Nutty Professor, right?
Yeah, and Meet the Clumps.
Yeah.
Is that a sequel or a
Of course.
spinoff?
It is.
Yes.
It sure
It's a
is.
sequel.
Awful name. Awful. And then Guess comes up to her with her face all fucked up because just like Jolene at one point gets cut because Goo Goo Dolls chops through her thread by her punching Goo Goo Dolls in the face twice, Guess's face is really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that Jolene's like, shrink me down so I can get out of here. And Guess is like, okay, $200. And Jolene's like,
Yeah.
just fucking do it.
Yeah. It's
And
like, fuck you! It gets like really, intense.
as it should, if you're trapped like in one of those beams in the ceiling and this
Yeah.
little like razor monkey has been trying to slash at you, I can understand wanting to get down quickly. And then Guess, as the worst negotiator ever, is like, okay, you can also sleep in the bottom bunk
Mhm.
if you want.
Yeah.
Which, thinking about it now, by the way, she does. Jolene does sleep in the bottom
Yeah.
bunk at the end.
Oh, you're right.
That's funny. But yeah, so she does get shrunken down a little bit, but I think before she can get asked to be brought back to full size, Guess pushes her through the bars again, I guess.
She makes her small
Yes.
and pushes her through.
And that's where she
One last attempt.
yeah, and so she's like letting her grow back to like medium size and yelling to the guards like, "Oh, someone's past the guard, the gun
Yeah.
point." They keep calling it. I don't know if that's an actual prison
Yeah.
term.
She's like, oh, she crossed whatever it is. And then like security guard's like, and he goes gets to get something. And she's like, he's going to get a gun and shoot you. And he has every right to do so.
Yeah, and she's very much like, "You suck. I've won. Oh God." And they don't really show it, but I think the idea is that stone free her stand.
Well, this is where she gives it a name. She's like, well, you said stuff about names, so I'm going to name it. And she's like, stone free, because I want to be free from this stone ocean prison. Yeah.
But it seems like Stone Ocean is able to punch her through the bars, but there's no like moment where they like zoom out and show you like, oh, the wires are letting her go through the bars. It's just we just see her stand pummel the shit out of her, even though she's on the other side of something.
Yeah.
But we do get a really cool shot of Jolene standing still, but her hair is blowing as her stand is just behind her punching the shit out of something.
It's a windy ass prison.
Yeah, that's a very
yeah.
fun thing. And then, of course, conveniently, the guards come back later because Jolene's like, now take me out of here, shrink me. And the guards are like, I didn't see anything. And then we see that the cameras were turned down, that Jolene also used one of her strings to pull the camera away because, yeah, what they would see would be one girl pinned up against the bars, being threatened, and then suddenly, like, shaking like crazy as this invisible ghost thread monster punches her. So it's definitely very convenient that Jolene decided nobody should see all of that. And she gets out. And then, yeah, Guess is crying her little butt off in the top bunk. And Jolene, how does it end? I don't remember, actually.
I think that's how it ends. She's crying, and Jolene is like staring at a picture of her parent, the little locket picture.
You're right, yeah. And then Duffy.
And then Duffy. A beach.
So two things, or is it one? Two things. Okay. So this is not the first stand we've seen that can shrink things. In part 5, the stand user Formaggio, an early part of part 5, fights Narancia, who has Aerosmith.
Mhm.
Formaggio keeps shrinking him, Formaggio can shrink himself, and it takes time for him to shrink things, whereas Guess seems to be able to shrink things instantaneously, and it has longer range.
Yeah.
But they both shrink shit. And I think that this one...
And that's what does he use the shrinking powers for?
I don't remember.
Okay.
To just bother Eros, to bother
Because it doesn't seem
Narancia.
like that useful of a power. It seems useful in a prison, but I think in real life, like, oh, I can make you small. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that useful.
We'd have to... Well, he does something where he shrinks a car, and then I think he lets the car go back to full size, which is dangerous.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But can Gwess shrink non-people?
That's the thing, is it seems
She's never tried.
It seems
Okay.
like, either she's never tried, she knows she can't shrink herself, but we don't see her shrink anything that's not organic.
Mm-hmm.
She's organic only, and it has to be certified as such by an
Okay.
independent board.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
And so, it's like these two stands are very similar, but I don't know. I guess he just really wanted a shrinky stand to be in
Yeah.
jail, especially because like this power really is like shrinking people and turning them into animals. But that's like too
She
complicated a
doesn't
power.
she doesn't turn them into animals.
But
She's
I'm-
just
No.
But
crazy.
the effect is like, I can shrink you and force you to be a pet,
yeah.
is really what her personality wants.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have just been the power, is I turn you into an animal that's this big. There were, as I've mentioned before, I decided I'm not going to read all of them, but Araki leaves a comment on every chapter that came out in Weekly Shonen Jump. And my two favorites are, this came out in January of 2000. Happy New Year. My goal for the new millennium is going to be to buy a mobile phone and use it.
Wow.
That's one of them.
Aw.
And then in order to cultivate
I hope he did it.
I don't know if he did.
Yeah.
I mean, a cell phone is very important in one of the future parts, but I cannot tell you. And the other one I like is, in order to cultivate some tomatoes this year, I'm going to get some dirt ready while it's still winter. I'm going to do it. So he's just full of like
Okay.
New Year's resolutions. He also
Right.
plugs a bunch of
Get
shit
that
where he's like,
dirt, Araki.
yeah, get it together. Let it thaw out now. I don't know. I just like the word, I'm going to do it.
Do you
Yeah.
think Araki plays games on his phone?
No, but I would
You
love
got
to
games
ask
on
him
that phone?
if he has games on his
Yeah.
phone.
He's playing the JoJo
Yeah.
Gotcha game.
He can't.
Why not?
Araki, right in.
Gone.
Oh, it's
They're
gone.
Doesn't
all
exist yet.
over.
Oh, it's gone also.
Pita Pata Pop is gone.
Whatever.
I think Diamond Wreckers
Oh.
is definitely gone, and then Stardust Shooters is probably also gone because it's older. But
Yeah, what happened to
are
that Battle Royale one?
the Battle Royale
Around-
JoJo arcade game is still going. They just put out Diavolo, or they're about to
Hell
put out
yeah.
Diavolo. I don't know why I can't play it. I need to go to Japan or something and bring back a bunch of them. And then JJB Pod Patreons will be allowed to visit my house, but they have to do what I say and speak in a cute voice the entire time they are playing JoJo's Last Survivor. Yeah, no, that game looks awesome. I've been thinking about how I like and hate every battle royale that I've played at the same time. And maybe that JoJo's one would be the perfect mix, because even though everyone has all these powers and I don't have the brain power to keep all those in mind, if it was JoJo, I'd be like, right, because he can skip time. I'd get it.
Mhm.
It'd be really easy for me to pick up. Listeners, if you have any connections to, I don't know, Namco or whoever makes that shit, write in to JoJo's Bizarre Pod at gmail.com or tweet to us. We are at JJBpod. So yeah, Elliot, you've watched ahead, you've watched the 12 and now have to suffer and wait. But Jackie and Miles, how do
You
you feel
fool.
so far about the anime after watching this episode? Did your feelings change after the first episode? Like,
No.
you didn't,
My
did your
feelings are the same
expectations or
episode
your
episode.
feelings on JoJo like come back to you more clearly than after episode 1 or anything?
I'm just excited for all the weird stuff. You know, I missed it.
Mhm.
Miles?
I really liked this confrontation, and I like the person who wrote in. I love this introduction into the stand. I think she looks so cool with her sunglasses. I also love that she said yada yada.
Yeah.
Yes. She
She says-
inherits all of Jotaro's little verbal tics.
Yeah, she can't help it. It just comes out. But she says yada yada dawa instead of yada yada daze, because those are very gendered endings.
Oh.
They don't mean anything on their own, but dawa is an ending that Japanese women can use, and daze is a very like, I'm a guy in a fucking comic book way of ending a sentence. But they technically both mean is. So, whatever. Thanks, Japanese.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of fun with this on a first watch through. I like that they jump into how weird JoJo is just immediately. And then they also make it so that Jolene as a protagonist just kind of has to like think on her feet and figure out, because she in this episode she doesn't even know what stands are, but she has to figure out what everything does immediately.
Yeah. She's learning the rules, you know. She's learning about distance and
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because I think former JoJo protags, they usually have like sort of a mentor character. Sometimes just Jotaro will teach them what stuff is.
Yeah.
Jolene does not have that.
Yeah, Jotaro had Abdul, who came there and just was like, here are all the rules, because it was like a new mechanic.
Yeah.
Because Araki was just throwing everything out and starting over kind of with JoJo. And so he just has a guy just read all the rules as he was making it up. Elliot, have I asked, like, did you know that JoJo did this like big shift from part 2 to part 3? I apologize if I'm like if I'm retreading old stuff, but like I struggle a lot with recommending it to people because I like part 1. I know that part 1 has weaknesses. I want to be like a don't skip Nazi.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did you know about like the shift in tone, or do you have any feelings on that?
Not so much tone. I knew there was a shift in power set
mechanics,
and like and mechanics and how like the martial arts stuff is going to happen. But I'm also with you though. I think JoJo's more enjoyable if you take it from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess a lot of people are turned off by that too, and I understand why.
Yeah, it is like something I can't think of other comics that really do that kind of thing. I mean, I guess without spoiling it, but like Berserk is pretty different after all the like medieval stuff with Guts and Griffith being best buds, and then it's just like totally different after a certain thing happens. But it is this thing now where even it's well, whatever. I don't know. People listening to this don't need to hear this whole thing. But I will say that yeah, with part 6 starting up, it's like even though we're in the stand side of JoJo's, it's like it's satisfying. You know, he's not like he doesn't need to change it again and come up with a totally different mechanic for JoJo's because it works. It still works. Seeing a hero get their stand, seeing them fight their first bad guy, understanding the bad guy's mechanics, like solving that mystery because it's always a fucking mystery, and then figuring out how to apply their stand. You know, how the protagonist uses their own stand to solve the problems. It goes down smooth.
Yeah.
It does.
It works.
One thing I read was that Araki wanted Stone Ocean to be a good starting point for like...
Oh, really?
The manga. Yeah, he wanted it to be, reportedly wanted to be a good starting point for people who'd never read JoJo's. What do you think of that? I don't know if that... I don't know how well it works if this is your first JoJo introduction ever.
Because they haven't explained what a stand is yet, and it's...
Yeah.
No, not at all.
We're an hour in.
I think at least like the powers are simple, you know? Like...
True.
So it's not like you start out with some crazy thing that like the powers are too complicated. It's just like the characters are interesting and, you know, weird stuff happens, but it's in the title, you know, there's going to be some bizarre stuff. And like, you know, it has like, it seems like people get their powers maybe from touching the arrow or like there's something weird with the charm. So like there's like a mystery there. I think it's a good, like, I don't think it's not at the point where it's like too complicated for anyone to understand, I think, who's like just jumping into it.
I think it's a fine starting point, but yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a better starting point than 3, 4, or 5. Like I don't know.
I think 3 is a good one. I think 3 is a good starting point.
Yeah.
Right.
But also part 1, unless you really can't stand like the older drawing style or like a hero that's kind of like a dork, kind of just like an annoying self-righteous guy like Jonathan. Besides that, it's fine.
Yeah, but part 1 is like irrelevant to like the newer parts.
But Dio.
Yeah, it's true. Dio's important.
Dio's a thing. It is also, I think it's just like if you did read or watch enough of the late 80s, early 90s martial arts shonen stuff, then you're going to be bored by the breathing crap. But watching and like thinking about JoJo at all anymore, it's like, right, Zeppeli shows him about the power of Hamon by karate chopping a frog.
Yeah.
and it doesn't hurt the frog. And the sound effect is memeta. Like, it is still its own weird thing. But that's interesting to think of this as a starting point. Was he dumb and just being like, it's for girls? It's the Barbie version of JoJo.
I don't know. That's
a good
thing,
starting
though.
point. Maybe he thought there's like boys that are bored and want to see girls. And then he's like, this is a great place to start if you thought my other parts had too many dudes in their abs.
That's the other funny thing, too, though. Like, with Araki using, he doesn't feature female characters in his manga that often, but even with this one, I feel like they're compared to other 90s or early 2000s Shonen Jump stuff. Like, you compare it to other manga that was going on at the time, and there's like way more fan service and there's way more like male gaze shots compared to what Araki could be doing. So even then, he doesn't lean super hard into that direction, in my opinion, which is funny. I don't know if that is his angle either.
That's true. There could be a lot more like fan service.
I feel like having her get completely naked and pose in different naked ways to me was like a sort of funny, convenient way of doing that. But it's certainly unique, rather than like, let's go to a hot spring.
It's funny. It's not like, oops, like I'm naked and I'm just walking around like it's normal.
That's such an early 2000s anime thing. I think one fun distinction is that even when Jolene is talking about masturbation or does like the pose thing, she has a lot more agency, I guess, as a character, right? She's like, she's doing it for herself, or she's doing it to like spite the guards or something, and it's not like an "oops, you caught me naked" sort of like innocent thing. Like she's never innocent, right? Like from the beginning, she's portrayed as the opposite of innocent, which is fun.
She's not like an object.
It's a far cry from the first chapter of JoJo, which depicts like an Aztec sacrifice and just like a woman's tits as she's thrown on top of a slab, and then he just stabs her with a big like rock.
Well, that's not even a character. That's just like.
But that's the point, is that it's not a character, but it is tits.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's
an excuse to just be like, look, reader, titties. Now I'm going to be weird for 30 years. I'm just going to be a bizarre guy, and it's going to be kind of gay the whole time as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe like, Shonen Jump had some editorializing. Like they were like, hey, when Guess is crying at the end of this chapter, just have it so her like panties are hanging out, that her butt is coming out, and it does make her look sort of silly and weak at the same time, but I do notice things like that. Like people just sleep. I mean, he does it with guys too, though. He's like one of the few people that you can say like, no, he really does have the guys like just put their body out there in a way that you're like, that doesn't seem comfortable, but there they are.
And back to it being like, accessible for someone, like an intro to JoJo's. I think it's possible when you have, I've definitely bought games and stuff like when I was younger because there was a girl on the cover, like I think it's just like you might be appealing to a different demographic when you change up the main character like that. So, I think it's good to make that easy for the like new fans to join, people who like, saw other JoJo's maybe in like, you look at the cover or whatever and you're like, okay, this is like other, action hero, sci-fi, whatever that I've seen before. And they see this one and they're like, okay, this looks different. Like it's a woman who's fighting and they're in a prison, which is weird and interesting. And I don't know.
Yeah. I do think also though that like it does also appeal to boys. It feels like a win-win because of gaze on women. It's like, it does, like a lot of men will also buy things because there's a woman on it as well.
Yeah.
Like I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty this last like year or two, and it is funny that like when like they were starting to add like protagonists into like war games, that they were like, that's not historically accurate. There shouldn't be women in the army in World War I or whatever. It's like the people I always see playing as those girls are men. They're all like guys like me that are like, but this outfit is the best color. Like we're all doing that.
Yeah.
And so like there's been rumors that that people that like that the Shonen Jump was mad at Araki because he was making a female protagonist, you know, where people think like this was the least popular part. And I don't think I've seen any of that ever backed up. And I'm not going to underestimate the potential for like a publisher or an editor to make a dumb assumption. But at the same time, I guess I'm just saying like, I don't think there's any reason why you should assume that like boys wouldn't want to read this because it has a lady on it. You know, not everybody's going to be like, it has to be something I can identify with or I can't enjoy it.
I mean, I think, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think there might be some people who are like, oh, you know, I used to identify with the characters and now like it doesn't feel like it's for me anymore. Like there were probably some people who were like, I don't know if I can relate to this. Like there's no character that's like me, you know?
But I'm saying that might be counterbalanced out by the people who are like, normally everything features a square-jawed guy from Japan, but now I can look at some boobs and butts at the same time.
Yeah.
So I guess we're trying to sell people on a show they're clearly already watching.
Yeah,
but
true.
we should wrap up.
Okay.
But yeah, Elliot, it's been great to talk to you. It's been great to talk about JoJo again. I don't know if you want to plug anything you're doing specifically, but should people check out Blazeball? And if so, how do they do that?
You can go to blaseball.com. That's spelled baseball, but there's an L after the B.
Okay.
That's the L.
And then what do you do?
You can sign up for an account. Right now, we are doing short seasons before we are going to launch a full game next year in 2022. But right now, we're doing experimental seasons that you can join and play around with experimental mechanics and see see a small amount of the weird story that's going on, which includes stuff like teams turning into peanuts. Fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to read about the Ohio worms before and after this peanut conversion happened. And yes, listener, we are at JJBpod on Twitter and JoJo's Bizarre Pod at gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to talk about episode 3 of Stone Ocean. Big surprise. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.